This is the ionization action game. This game goes along with lesson 11 in your student book, Ion Formation. The purpose of this game is to give your students opportunities to practice many times, recalling the idea that some atoms gain electrons as they ionize and some lose electrons as they ionize. In order to play this game, your students will need to each have a copy of the periodic table, and we suggest you make Xerox copies of those. In your play space, you'll need to clear the area of all chairs except for 4. You'll find yourself at the front of the room, and then have your students line up facing you, and have 4 chairs at the periphery of your playing area. On each chair, you'll affix some labels. One chair, you'll put the label gains 1 electron. In another chair, you'll put the label gains 2 electrons. And then we'll have the labels loses 1 electron. And we'll position those so your students can read them. And then in the 4th chair, we'll have the label loses 2 electrons. To begin play, you'll call out the name of an element. The elements that you'll choose from are those elements that you've identified as those that are elements that readily ionize. For example, in the sodium family, these elements all lose 1 electron, and then you'll use elements also from the calcium family, which lose 2 electrons. Then you can also call elements from the halogen family, which gain 1 electron, or elements from the oxygen family, which gain 2 electrons. So any of those elements of those 4 families, the oxygen family, the halogen family, the sodium family, or the calcium family, can be used for the game. So what you'll do is you'll call out the name of one of those elements. Then according to how that element's atoms ionize determines where your students will need to run to that appropriate chair. For example, if you would call out the element named sodium, then your students would look on their periodic tables, find sodium, which is right here. They'll recall that sodium has 1 valence electron, therefore it wants to lose 1 valence electron in order to ionize, and so all your students will then run to the chair and touch the chair that has the label loses 1 electrons. Now as they all move over to the chair, obviously there'll be one student, which is the last one, who gets there. And then that student goes to the end of the line as the students return to the line back in front of you. So if we bring them back, everyone goes back in place where they were in line at the beginning. And the student here, little Susie, she happened to be the last one to get to the chair, and therefore goes to the end of the line. Now play continues by you calling out another element. For example, let's say this time you choose to say oxygen. And so the students will then refer again to their periodic table, find oxygen here, know that it will gain 2 electrons to ionize, and so then your students will look around and they'll find the chair that's got the label of gains 2 electrons, which happens to be this yellow chair here, and then they'll all dash over there, and you'll see that Susie has a better chance this time of getting to the chair. And then we've got Tommy here happens to be the last one to get over to his chair, get to touch the appropriate chair. So then the students come back, and everyone else comes back in the same order that they were. However, this time Tommy here has to go back to the end of the line. Obviously, the object of the game is to get yourself to where you're at the head of the line, and to hopefully keep maintain that position at the head of the line. No one gets eliminated in this game. This allows everyone opportunities to practice time and time again, and with some repetitive play here, your students should get to be very good at recalling the elements as they gain or lose electrons as they ionize.